Introducing Billboard Pal, the mobile billboard. With your Billboard Pal, you can advertise anywhere, anytime. Just find your target audience and make unlimited connections. Billboard Pal makes advertising fun and affordable. Stand out from the crowd. Your future customers are ready to meet you.
Content over everything!
I can't lie, yeah. Out of all the cops that I've seen in the park, yeah, like, you're the best, but the thing is, yeah, this is police in the park. So, like, what I call you lot is PR police. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the everyday experiences that we have with police here and the experiences that, especially our youth, are having in the community are completely different.
Yep, I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, the park ain't really a problem where police are concerned, especially where we're quite versed in the law. You know what I'm saying? Quite versed, like we know that in order for us to be stopped and searched, there's reasonable grounds is needed. You know that people need to see, smell, touch or hear something that directly links us to a crime. You know that if they don't directly links us to a crime, they're acting out of their own prejudice. So, us knowing that they're acting out of their own prejudice, it puts us in I think a powerful position in comparison to other youth in the community. So our problem with the police ain't really how they deal with me or other ones like us, because we're quite knowledgeable. Our problem is your colleagues, you know what I'm saying, in the streets, and the way they abuse this lack of knowledge on the law that our youth have, and they abuse it in a way where they can racially profile, and that affects the six. That affects that's the reason why we're seeing crime going up. And then that leads into the mass incarceration. And the mass incarceration, obviously we know now there's prisons for profit, so it's like modern day slavery. So I say that's our biggest issue with the police right now.
Do you find it's more from younger police officers than older police officers?
Nah, I think it's...
Is it right across the board, is it?
Yeah, because even you, like right now you're in the park, you're alright, but I've had officers that, like say if there's 5 officers and 4 of them are definitely, they've just seen us, they've looked at us, and whatever their own personal prejudices are, whether it's from their upbringing, whether it's from their school experiences, whether it's from the media, whether it's from society's perspective on us, they literally see us, and because of the clothes we're wearing, because of the colour of our skin, and maybe the area we're standing in, they believe that we're criminals. And they use that as an excuse to say they're going to stop and search us. Even though there's no reasonable grounds, even though there's nothing directly linking us to any crimes, they use it. And then the good officer, I put quote unquote, has never ever in my experience said to the others, no, we shouldn't be doing this. Right. This is wrong. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If anything, it will just stay silent when the rest of them are abusing our rights. You know what I'm saying?
So what's the answer?
I'd say that if we put a lot of people say the answers, you know, people joining the police, us engaging with the police. I don't really feel like that's the answer. I feel like the community has to hold the police accountable. So I feel like if we have a community that doesn't understand the law and a community that ignores these interactions between the police and our community, then the police are always going to feel like they can get away with it. I think once the community is actually policing the police ourselves, and we're actually questioning police, and we're actually seeing police engaging with the youth, we're pulling out our cameras, we're actually putting pressure on the corruption, I feel like that's the best and only solution that I can see.
So Rasta, basically you're saying is like you call me like I'm a PR officer.
PR,
so
yeah, promotional. So public relations.
So you're basically saying you want more PR officers within the community to build that trust between the community.
The reason why you're dangerous as a PR officer is because you come out here with this behaving as you should be. Yeah. But then what happens is they put you to the forefront, and then everyone ignores the corrupt officers in the back. So it's not only the fact they're being PR officers, It's the fact that officers are actually standing out and speaking out and condemning it. Because when we actually look at the dictionary definition of what terrorism is, it's someone who enforces their own political agenda by intimidation or force. That's the dictionary definition of terrorism. So racial profiling is a political agenda.
Yeah.
And when they're racially profiling us and they come up to us and say they're going to stop and search us, and we're like, no, you haven't got reasonable grounds to stop us. I've just been standing here. I haven't done anything. And then the officers use their badge, they use their uniform, they grab us, they use their cuffs. That's actually force and intimidation. So what it means is those officers are actually acting as terrorists in our community. And they're the only people terrorising us. Like we're in Speaker's Corner where people always talk about terrorism and Muslims. A Muslim person's never terrorised me. The only time I've been terrorised is by people who claim to be here to protect and serve me. You know what I'm saying? So that is where the biggest issue is. And I feel like you said, the PR officers, but another thing for the PR officers to do is to actually speak out and actually hold the other ones accountable. Which is very hard because we have this blue code of silence. So it's very hard. So if you do that as an officer, you might face what they call peer pressure inside. So if an officer comes out and he's actually standing on our side and actually speaking the truth, when he gets back to the station, we ain't there to save him. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm saying that the pressure has to come from the community on the whole institution.
Okay.
Once the community is actually holding the institution accountable, then the power's in our hands. The power's no longer in the government or police or what they want to do and I say it's our fault because of our lack of knowledge on the law. You know what I'm saying? That's a big part of the problem.
Okay. And would you say the problem has got worse, or is it better than it was, say, 5 years ago?
Well, 5 years ago, the police was moving right through the Section 60. I was actually one of the main people who advocated and got the Section 60 removed.
Right.
I done debates in Goldsmiths University, Oxford University, Westminster University of Law, and we done a lot of activism to get it removed. So once that was removed, I can't lie, that did help a little bit. The problem is that once that Section 60 was removed, around that same time, a lot of the youth funding was cut. So they removed Section 60, but they cut the youth funding. But when they cut the youth funding, there's no youth clubs in our areas. Like in Tottenham, there's like one youth club in the whole area. Yeah. And then people look at Tottenham and say, why are they behaving like this? Yeah. Because there's no opportunities for the youth. Yeah. So if they took away the Section 60 and then they invested more into the youth and more into the opportunities for the youth, then we would have seen it get better. The problem is they took away Section 60 and they took away the opportunities for the youth, and then they looked at the situation and they say, oh look, these lot are killing each other, look, we must need Section 60, we must need stop and search back. But stop and search can't actually solve the problem within our community.
I agree.
Because if, say I'm here right now, if I've got a knife, I'm not going to stop for a stop and search. There's no way I'm stopping. You're not even going to see me. The people who are actually out here looking to, stop and search ain't going to stop it. It's a mindset issue that needs to be dealt with within our community again. Do you know what I'm saying? I think most of the problems that we face are problems that it's our community that has to take responsibility for, but we look outside ourselves a lot. We look to the police, we look to the mayor, we look to the government. That's one of our biggest issues. We need to start looking inside ourselves as a community and seeing what we can do. Because you see, if we give the power to the police, it's like, it depends on when police decide to treat us like human beings, and then that's when we're going to be treated like human beings. If we hold the power, then it doesn't matter how the police treat us, because if any of you officers come over to me right now and try to unlawfully stop and search or harass me, the people are going to hold you accountable. And I feel like the people holding the police accountable, that is the most powerful thing, because I've seen it. I've seen police try to behave...
well, that's how it should be.
100%.
Because the police by public consent.
100%. Well, they are public servants, really.
Sorry
go
about that. One second.
Yeah.
I know all the work you're doing with guiding a new generation. Could you, if I've got you look, I'll give you one of my cards. If you get a moment, just email me all those kind of bullet points and everything you said there, because I want to look into that further.
All right, cool.
Yeah?
I'm gonna try. I don't really do the email thing.
No, just.
Leon, you want? I can't take over everything. You answer that email.
No, because again, this is what's good about Speaker's Corner again. You know, you're guiding a new generation. Your intent is there to make that change for the youth
100%.
and interaction with the community and the police. It has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
This is part of that start.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I am a PI officer, and I'm only a part of a little tiny jigsaw of a very big
100%.
masterpiece.
100%.
Yeah. But it has to start somewhere. And if I can get that message out that we need more of, my style of policing, because unfortunately the various cuts of the community neighbourhood things have been reduced, so you're losing that interaction.
100.
You know, and the evidence you sort of gave there, that paints the picture as where we need to go forward. So we're all going to work together.
Yeah. Well, obviously, because of until the blue code of silence is lifted from the police, we as gang, we can't really work with the police in any way, shape or form, because we genuinely believe that the overall body, even though you're right, like right now,
you have to start somewhere, because otherwise that young generation going up are always going to have that mistrust. There's got to be a turning point.
100%, but that turning point comes from the police, and all we can do as a community is keep working on ourselves and making sure that we're holding the police accountable, because then it doesn't matter how the police feel. You know what I'm saying? If we're relying on us interacting with the police, and then the police, because you're here in Speaker's Corner right now, but I'm telling you, see when your colleague officers jump out on my brothers in North London, South, they jump out on us like we're prey. It's like we're food. You know what I'm saying? And then when they're stopping us, it's like they're just looking for anything to arrest us. It's like they just want to find something. You know what I'm saying? What's your name? Are you wanted? They're just looking for everything. So until that sort of behaviour stops from the police, you know what I'm saying? And when that behaviour does stop, you know what I'm saying? Then I feel like the community might be more willing to look into other options and other. And there are community organisations that do engage, or you know what I'm saying. But we as gang, we're literally the voice of the people and the voice of the youths. So because of that, cops are the ops still, 100%.
Okay. Respect, we'll talk more.
Alright, cool. To the fist bump, you get me? Then I know what time it is. Easy, my cousin. Yes, you good? Easy. Yeah. Bang, you get me? Early thing, man's out here early. You know what I'm saying? Man, I have to tell, man, cops are definitely the ops on Hannah. You know what I'm saying? And my man, I can't lie, like content. My man, he's in the park, he don't really terrorise the man them or nothing like that. I can't say anything negative about him as an individual, you know what I'm saying? But I can say that police in general, they don't behave like him in our communities. You know what I'm saying? They ain't just chilling on the block and how are you, man, today? And we don't see all of them police there, bro. Those are public relations police. Those are police that get sent out in order to give the public a perception of how the police are. But the way they're actually behaving in our communities is the complete opposite. So we have to hold them accountable. Guiding the new generation. Gang, my man tried to... Yes, I know what to do with guiding the new generation. Hey! Content over everything! From your melody! Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to...
What we have is two truth claims, and I believe two moral systems. You have indicated that you want to base your moral system on evolution. I believe it should be based on revelation. We disagree. This is why you need God, because God allows you to have a common narrative. What we don't have at this moment is, if we have no objective truth to measure moral systems by, all we have is a competition. A competition in which the one who is stronger wins.